Oh, hello world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. This is my new best friend, Opal, and no, you can't have her. We're here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Super Bowl Sunday is upon us once again. And what that means, of course, as per usual, oversized party subs, $1 million commercials, and my favorite, the return of the Puppy Bowl. This year marks the 16th anniversary of television's cutest sports competition ever, with more pups than ever before, new team colors, tons of other surprises. Joining us now, returning for his 9th year as Puppy Bowl Ruferee. Please welcome back to the show, the great, the wonderful, the one, the only, Dan Schachner, everybody. Make some noise for Dan.
Ready?
I'm sorry.
How are you guys?
Hey. Dan, welcome. And who's with you? Who's your puppy ambassador?
I noticed you said you can't have Opal, but you can have Brazil. She's up for adoption right now through the Sato project.
That is fantastic. And that's well, there's two parts there. One, I'm not letting go of Opal, but also I believe Opal has a forever home at this point. Yes.
Opal was adopted, rescued by the same organization. So Sato, for those who don't know, great group. They go down to Puerto Rico. Well, we all know there's been a tremendous amount of natural disasters over the last few years, and so there's a big pet overpopulation problem. So Opal was rescued about a year ago. She was found just abandoned on the street. Unfortunately, the culture down there is a little bit of like, it's okay to leave dogs on the street, you know, and they're trying to change that culture, but it's still there and prevalent, unfortunately. And so she's about a year old, and this little girl, Brazil, was part of, named after a nut, not the country, or both, I guess. The mom's name was Macadamia, and they were found at a construction site in Puerto Rico. Just randomly there, the construction workers were kind enough to create a little shelter for the mom and her new litter. Wow. And, you know, she's got siblings Hazel and Cashew and Walnut. They're all looking for forever homes. They all kind of look like this, just a little beautiful mix. And yeah, so they got flown to the U.S. Well, Puerto Rico is the U.S. They got flown to New York about a week ago. Yeah, I can't remember if it was last time or one of the times that we talked. You had flown out. You did a little bit of traveling yourself, like to research and find recruits. Did you do any of that this year as well? Did you get a chance to travel around and Oh yeah, yes, we travel every year. It's one of the best parts of this job. So, you know, Puppy Bowl, for those who don't know, is actually almost a 6-month process. We begin...
6 months, wow.
Yeah, I mean, we begin sort of casting for it in late summer or September, and then we shoot it actually in October, and then it takes months to edit it, to promote it, to do the auxiliary programming. There's a pregame show, there's postgame. There's a draft special, there's a combine special. We try to mirror what's going on with human football as much as possible. How long writing process? Because those puns don't write themselves. They don't write themselves. I've got like a Bible's worth of pet puns that I try to not, you know, overuse from year after year. And then there's also a team of writers who do a really good job. How much fun is that at home? Are you walking around coming up with pet puns all the time? It's great. Dan, just put it in the book. I don't want to hear another one. The most helpful thing is just to watch regular football and be like, oh yeah, illegal shift. Well, if you take away the F from shift, you've got a great new pet-friendly pun. Which I'm trying to use, but not allowed to. Yeah, not allowed. Well, it's the internet. You can do whatever you want here. Oh, okay, good. So talk to me about this year, Sweet 16, big year. I know you're very excited, Opal. How did you guys make it bigger than ever? How many puppies this year? Yeah, so that's the main thing. We try to squeeze as many puppies as we can into every single year, bigger and better. We got 96 this year. We're gonna get to 100 next year, we hope. 96, not all at once on the field, but they're from all over the country. In fact, international, we have a dog from Canada, a dog from St. Croix, and a dog from Colombia, just to sort of spread our reach a little bit and cast a little light on what's going on in other parts of the world. But 96 from breeds, a variety of breeds, everything from, you know, Dalmatians to Great Danes to Poodles to beautiful Sato mixes like this. Sato is the Puerto Rican Spanish word for street dog. Okay. So even though it's not a real mix, it's a mix. It's a mutt, which is what most rescues are, isn't that right? And we've got a lot of dogs. It's kind of crazy this year. 96, but you think you guys will hit a full 100 next year? You think you're gonna go? I think so. You know, you have to make adjustments. In other words, for previous years, you might see, say, a Cocker Spaniel that you loved for 3 minutes of airtime. You know, in order to get as many puppies in there as possible, you might only see them for 2 minutes. That's all. Yeah. So it's just about like lowering their airtime so we can get as many dogs in there as possible. And you guys are still running with a 100% adoption rate, right? Like, is there anybody left? Is there? No, but that's the great news. By the time we air, every single dog, sometimes they do get adopted right on set. Really? We have a good, you can almost happened now. Right. You've got a crew here who's fallen in love with dogs, and it happens when we're on set. You know, we've got a 100-member crew at least. Wow. Because we have a mix of volunteers. There's 20 different cameras. If you watch Puppy Bowl, there's a water bowl cam, there's a blimp cam, there's cameras embedded inside the Chew toys, in the gridiron, in the field goal posts, there's cameras everywhere. So there's a big crew that puts it all together. And At some point every year, somebody from the crew adopts one. By the time we'll air, of course, same as Super Bowl Sunday, they will all be adopted. Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean,
incredible.
I'm predicting it. That's just because that's how it's happened every year prior.
That's for the puppies. And how about the dog bowl? Can't talk about puppy bowl without talking about dog bowl.
Yeah, 3 years ago we did something new. We did dog bowl because we all know puppies don't have a very hard time getting adopted. No. It's pretty easy if you've got a 4-month-old puppy that they're gonna, chances are they're gonna find a forever home. Dogs, unfortunately, languish longer in shelters. They don't have the same appeal. Sometimes, shelters, not that they ignore them, but they sort of put their puppies in the foreground. And if you look at the way rescues and shelters are set up, they do put their more adoptable pups in the front. Unfortunately, the older ones sit in the back. So we created Dog Bowl. It's in its 3rd year, and it just showcases senior and adult dogs and special needs dogs. And we also have a 100% adoption rate after Dog Bowl airs. 60 dogs this year, also from all over the country. So if you combine 96, 150 dogs between Saturday night's airing of Dog Bowl and Sunday's airing of Puppy Bowl.
I didn't realize the Dog Bowl also had that was that successful as well.
Yeah,
extremely. That's incredibly cool because you're right. It is a lot harder, especially and you got a couple of special needs dogs this year. I saw, right?
Yeah, Puppy Bowl
and Dog Bowl. Or?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. Again, we're just trying to showcase all different types of dogs as possible. We're trying to focus on the ability part of the disability, and this year, let me tell you how it started. Last year, we featured a special needs dog named Bumble.
I remember Bumble. Yeah.
You remember Bumble?
Yeah.
White, beautiful dog.
Awesome dog. Yeah.
Sight impaired and hearing impaired. Bumble won the MVP, which is our most valuable player award. That is not given by me or even by the crew. It's a America Votes kind of thing. They kind of tweet in and choose their MVP. So Bumble was voted MVP because Bumble proved that didn't matter if you had any special need, you were able to compete in something like puppy football. And she did. I mean, Bumble did a great job scoring touchdowns. So that inspired us to have even more. So this year we have 5 special needs dogs.
Oh, wow.
We have Ferris, who's a 3-legged puppy. We have Filbert, who's also hearing and sight impaired, a couple of deaf dogs. And we have Rooster, who's a little baby French who's got a cleft palate. And that affects a lot of dogs too. And unfortunately, those 2 either get euthanized, sadly, or get overlooked. So again, they did quite a good job. You'll have to tune in on Sunday to see how they did, but I can tell you they did quite well.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Don't you foster a lot of dogs, right?
This is one of my fosters, yeah.
Oh, really? Brazil is?
Yeah, Brazil. I'm just currently living with me. Again, part of a litter. The litter needed homes here in New York.
What's up, babe? You want
So we're trying to get them all adopted out. Yeah, I foster throughout the year. I mean, not just as part of this. We're a strictly foster home because in my mind, when I started doing the fostering in earnest 6 or 7 years ago, I realized I could do more good by fostering year-round versus adopting one dog. If the ref adopted a dog, it'd be great fun.
Right.
And interesting, but that would be a one-time event. And with fostering, I'm able to sort of continue this endless stream of dogs into my house, which my wife loves, by the way. And and my kids love it. And it actually keeps them more engaged in the rescue community as well. So it's good.
I was always intrigued, but I have a couple of friends that foster as well, and they love it. And for me, it's always been a scary idea to foster because you have to.
It is.
You have to say goodbye, every couple of months, or however often. But that just means you're good at your job and that you're helping these dogs find a good home.
I don't know how good I am. I'm no pet expert. Listen, I've been with Animal Planet now, thankfully, for over 10 years, and I just represent, I think, their audience. I don't come in as a pet expert, veterinarian, or anything like that, a trainer. I just represent the fan of Animal Planet, a guy who loves animals, who grew up with dogs, and wants to continue, that lifestyle, so to speak.
Yeah.
But has also been converted to the importance of rescue. I mean, when I started the job, we all knew buying a dog wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do, but it was still an option. And now you can see in these 10 years the culture changing from, rescue as being one option to being the option, the primary option. And that's good. I feel like we're doing good. And I myself have changed my attitude in those years. So it's been pretty satisfying.
Yeah, I've had a very similar journey as you.
Good.
Literally 10 years ago, the same exact mindset. Yeah. And just over the years.
You just thought there were 2 options. You could buy a dog, you could adopt a dog.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Both were fine.
But now, you get little buddies like this. Hey man, you want to rotate? Let's rotate. Let's do it.
Rotate, yeah, you gotta rotate things.
Gotta stay fresh. Gotta stay fresh. Talk to me about Pup Close and Personal. You guys do another great segment that happens every year. You got some cool people joining you, right?
We do the Property Brothers.
That's right, the Property Brothers.
They have a show called Forever Home where they're kind of creating a new home for HGTV for a new family, and they included a dog as part of that. So they had a puppy bull dog as part of that. So puppy bull dog that participated in the bowl and has also become part of this new family's home. So I'm not sure when that show airs, but it's tied in. That's really great. The other Pup Close and Personals that we have are, the trip down to Colombia, the country of Colombia, to rescue one of their street dogs named
Did you go on that
Soul.
trip, or?
No, I was going to, but I was doing another show for Animal Planet at the time, and I couldn't make it happen. So Jill went, Jill Rappaport,
Yeah,
who's our rep
amazing,
for Dog
yeah.
Bowl. She's a big advocate, too, for puppies. For dogs, I should say. So she went down, and we have Soul, S-O-L is the name of the dog from Colombia, who's part of it as well.
Oh, that's
so
amazing, man.
it's good. And lots of other fun pup close and personals. They're all little packages that sort of show, St. Croix is the other one. You know, there's a beach in St. Croix where this happens a lot throughout the world, where people simply abandon their dogs on beaches or in the streets. And we can't change the whole world, but we can do our part to get in there and at least alleviate some of the stress on the population.
Right.
So that's what we do. So St. Croix was another pup close and personal.
Yeah, you guys, you always you do an amazing job. You have so much fun with it. You've got the, we were laughing at the halftime show this year.
Yeah.
Which is,
Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember.
Well, just remember who was in the real halftime.
You know, I'm trying to remember the pun version of the name. Was it Catifer Lopez?
Right. So that's actually not a bad idea. We have Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer, that's way better.
But there's
Jennifer
so many options.
is inarguably better.
You could do Jennifer Lopez. I mean, there's lots of ones.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
Jennifer
but
Lopez.
I don't know. Jennifer really hits me the right way. That's the
and
one.
Kat Shira
Kat Shira, which
will be performing for your musical enjoyment.
Yeah.
At halftime show. Those kittens are also up for adoption.
I was going to ask, are the kittens up for adoption as well, man?
I think they also all get adopted too. I'll have to double check on that, but I know that if they don't all get adopted, they mostly get adopted by the time Puppy Bowl airs. So we love our cat friends as well.
Yeah, in the years past, you've also had, there was the sloth,
Yep.
there was, who else? You had the hamster wheel running the scoreboard.
That's the hamster still powers our
Hamster's
scoreboard.
still going.
Yeah.
That guy
I mean,
never
we have
gets a break.
We have a backup generator just in case he tires out, okay?
Yeah,
We're not going to
okay,
make the
good.
same mistake that human football made a few years ago and have a total blackout.
Have the blackout, yeah.
But no, the hamster's on the wheel powering the scoreboard. There's also a hamster up in a blimp that gets, you know, the overhead action. We have our cheerleaders this year are baby goats
Oh, good call.
and armadillos.
Interesting pairing. Where did that come from?
I think they wanted, you know, somebody tough out there to withstand some of the stress. I'm not sure, but they try to, you know, it is Animal Planet, so we try to showcase as many different
Yeah.
animals as possible. You know, we've had hedgehogs, we've had pigs, we've had chickens as
The
cheerleaders.
penguin cheerleaders with the
Penguins
big ear.
as cheerleaders on
That
the
was a
ice.
fun one.
That was great.
So you guys, are all of those animals in the building at once? Is that
No,
all?
great question. It takes a week to film Puppy Bowl.
A whole week? I thought it was a couple of days. I didn't realize it was a whole week.
A week, Monday through Friday.
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough, but still, that's a lot.
Yeah, because there are so many elements, and again, for safety's sake, we've got the Humane Society with us, and of course, animal trainers and pros with us who, you know, are check their safety all the time. But you cannot have, for example, penguins or baby goats interacting with puppies, especially if they haven't had all their shots, which these puppies don't. So yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
So they do stay separated, and then it just changes. Like one day is only for kittens, one day is for say, or one morning is for cheerleaders, another day is for the adult dogs, another day is for the puppies, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
What an awesome week at work for you.
Man, yeah, it's incredible.
You guys, you said it's a 6-month process. When do you guys start?
Yeah, so again, we receive our submissions. We used to have to go out to shelters for submissions, but now they come to us. So we just receive submissions every year. Now remember, I mean, the requirements for Puppy Bowl are between 3 and 6 months of age. And we shoot it in October, and it airs, you know, in February. So the puppies that you're casting, so to speak, have to be basically just born by the time you're making this decision.
Wow.
So you're really looking at pictures of litters of dogs.
It's like little tiny.
Yeah.
bundles, yeah.
And so one of the things they do when you're just submitting pictures, which people do, is they ask that the puppy be placed next to a Coke can or, you know, any soda can, just so you can get a sense as to how big the dog might be at that stage in their life.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just gives us an idea. And then, yeah, you hope for the best. We haven't been disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and there's also a holding area. So even though we featured 96 dogs in Puppy Bowl, I think over 100 do show up, but we socialize them ahead of time. You know, the vets are there, the handlers are there, the Humane Society is there, and we just make sure that they're playing safely
Yeah.
before they actually get on stage and, you know, get filmed.
Last time we talked, I think it was you were saying that you were a producer on the show as well.
Yeah,
not just
produced-
the referee anymore.
Yeah, thankfully they've promoted me, I guess.
Well, what? Because that's a big deal. Like, how did you go to them and say, I want to do more, I want to be a larger part of the show?
Yeah, the pup close and personals are the areas where, you know, I can do more than just be a referee and you know,
Yeah.
blow the whistle and call touchdowns and fouls. So, which is very satisfying.
Yeah.
But you know, as a producer, I was able to. So I pitched the idea of going down to Puerto Rico, and rescuing some of the dogs that Sato Project works with. And we went down, we filmed it, we brought a dog up, and did quite well.
I didn't realize that whole Saddle Project thing was your baby, and that was like your pitch.
It's not my rescue organization, it's just an
Well,
organization.
right, but like the idea to incorporate and work with them. Like
Yeah.
that was your-
I work with I try to work as many different shelters. So when I foster year round, I try to work with as many shelters as possible across the country. But yeah, Saddle Project, the reason why they're kind of important to me is because Puerto Rico's always been somewhere. We've always vacationed there for years, ever since I was little. So I've always kind of had a soft spot for that island, and I'd known the struggles they've been in. And in recent years, again, this poor island continues to get devastated. The earthquakes were the most recent natural disaster, and it just unfortunately continues. They continue to get pummeled every year, so I felt like it was more important to shed light on them, and hopefully through them continue to shed light on what's going on in the rest of the country. Yeah. So yeah, I produced a few. This past fall, I also hosted a great show called Give a Dog a Home. Yeah. So cool. It was in a live adoption, almost adoption telethon, so to speak. I saw that. It was really cool, man. Yeah, within the hour, we try to adopt as many dogs as possible, and we'll hopefully continue that drive this year, that initiative. Where'd that idea come from? It was just internally from Discovery Animal Planet. They said, listen, let's put our money where our mouth is, and let's not. It was almost a way of making Puppy Bowl, or the spirit of Puppy Bowl, last longer than just that one event. Right. And so that's what Give a Dog a Home was. Very, very cool. Year-long Puppy Bowl. And then I was looking at your Instagram, man. Between all this stuff, you go out, you do bar trivia and whatnot. You have a good time out there. I mean, do you ever wear the shirt? I did. The ref shirt, you got it. I did. It's part of the brand. I did. I should have worn it today, but it's in the laundry at the moment. You can imagine why. Yeah, I was gonna say. Every week I host dog trivia at. Some of you may know this place. It's called Boris and Horton. It's New York City's only dog-friendly cafe. They're down on 12th and A, and they do. I do all sorts of events, but it's a really cool place because it's a bar and it's a coffee shop, but it's got a big open space like this where you can sit in a couch or in your table, sip your coffee, have your beer or wine, and your dog can walk around off leash. Speaking of off leash. Yeah. And it's a really good space because they have a big charity initiative. So every week when I host dog trivia, we're always benefiting a different charity. So it's a different dog rescue every single week. It's pretty awesome. Good for you. Dude, you do so much amazing work. Like a lot of people, they do the referee thing and all that, and it's fun, and we love the Puppy Bowl. But I love when you get to come on and tell us about all the other amazing things that you're up to, and I really appreciate all the stuff that you do for these little guys, man. It's very cool. Like I say, I mean, when I started the job, it was just the ref job, but this job has kind of taken over my life and changed my idea. And thankfully, I got 2 small boys who now understand the importance of reaching out to your community. Brazil wants to talk. Brazil's got something to say, man. He's going to make a statement. Now the time has come and gone. Okay. Very cool. Before we get out of here, we got a couple of questions from the audience. We got some microphones out there, so don't be shy. Go for it. How's it going?
Hi, good. My question is,
hey, baby.
Is there any training process for referees on the show, for dog lovers that want to come on and be on the show?
Yeah, actually there is. I'm not sure how, but they do have a big army of volunteers every single year that come on and help the dogs. The publicists from Animal Planet are here. They can probably talk to you more about that when we're done. But yes, there are volunteers that become part of Puppy Bowl every single year. So there is a way to sort of get in there and watch it live. We don't have an audience. The reason we don't have a real true audience is because it can spook the dogs off a little bit, and it's a little unpredictable. But volunteers who are kind of into dogs and dog friendly are certainly welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we still have a show going on? We have time for one more question. I got lost in Opal's eyes. We have time for one more. Go for it. You're on the orange couch. What's up?
Hi. Do you have any advice for someone who might be aspiring to be a referee?
Yes, great advice. So the way I got this job is I just created videos on my own and posted them online, and it was just random weird stuff. Like I'd go to New York City dog parks and just officiate dogs. But I would say whatever you want to do with dogs and the dog, whether it be like food for dogs or training for dogs or refereeing for dogs, just create your content. That is sincere advice. Make that content, make it happen, even if it's through your iPhone and edit it on iMovie and just post it on your YouTube channel, because, and stay at it, because somebody will see it out there. And yeah, that's my best advice on that front.
It's very good advice. I want to thank you so much again, man, not just for being here, but for everything that you do.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank Opal for hanging out and being a little bundle of light and joy.
She did a 360 about 10 times.
Yeah, I know. She's rotated quite a bit. Brazil, what's up, bud? You were awesome.
Okay.
Did Brazil's bandana fall off?
Probably.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
This is what the ref goes through. Wardrobe malfunctions all day long.
This is it, man. Puppy Bowl 16. It's during the halftime of the Super Bowl, but the Dog Bowl, I believe, airs, I want to say the night before, so you can catch that. And just a million great things. Go to the website, make a little trading card with your dog on there.
Yep.
Just have some fun, get involved. And if you can't adopt, you can foster. If you can't foster, you can donate. There's so many different ways you can be a part.
I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
People say, I don't have time to adopt, or I travel too much for work. Of course, I was that guy. I was a guy who traveled for work and couldn't. That's okay. Fostering is great. It's 2 weeks, it's 4 weeks, it's 6 weeks. You're making an impact. You're saving 2 lives, not 1, because the life you take in makes room for the new life in the shelter. So consider fostering.
And this is science. If you own a dog, you live longer. I didn't make that up.
I just posted that.
Yeah, I just saw it,
American
yeah.
Heart Association literally had like a 7-year study. It's proven that dogs will lower your blood pressure and increase your heart health.
I don't think we can make a more compelling case than that. Thank you so much again for being here. Thanks everybody for being an awesome audience and hanging out with us. Tune into the Puppy Bowl. Keep going, and thank Dan for being here. Dan Schachner,
Thank
everybody.
you very much. Cheers.